Hello and welcome viewers to our YouTube presentation. Now, my name is Solomon Tomiton. Here in this presentation, I have three colleagues which will be speaking with me today in this presentation, namely Amos Vepa, Josiah Greggy, and Kane Peter. Now, today we will talk about something that affects every single one of us in education, whether we're just starting out or we've been in the classroom for decades. It's the relationship between us, the professional educators, and the school board that governs our district. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, school board meetings, policy, bureaucracy, not exactly the exciting topic, right? But here's the thing, understanding this relationship isn't just about following rules or staying out of trouble. It's actually about protecting our ability to do what we love, which is teaching, and making sure we advocate for our students effectively.
I will be discussing about professionalism in teaching. What professionalism really means in teaching. So let's start with professionalism itself. When most people hear the word, they might picture someone in a suit, being formal, maybe a little stiff. But professionalism in teaching, it's so much more than that. Think about it this way. Every day, parents trust us with what matters most to them. Their children, their youths, and with the trust comes responsibility. Professionalism means showing up prepared, not just physically in the classroom, but mentally ready to engage with 25 or 30 different personalities, learning styles, and needs. It means keeping confidence when a student tells you something personal or when you learn about a family situation through a parent conferencing. The information stays protected. It is not gossip for the teachers loud. Professionalism also means continue to grow. Education isn't static. It never has been. New research comes out about how kids learn, new technologies emerge, society changes, and we need to evolve with it. That means professional development, reading current research, maybe pursuing additional certifications. We can teach the same way we did 10 years ago and expect the same results. And here's something that doesn't get talked about enough. Professionalism means knowing boundaries. We care deeply about our students. That's why we are in this profession. But there is a line between being supportive and being inappropriate, between a trusted adult and trying to be a friend. Professionalism helps us navigate that. It also means how we interact with our colleagues. Teaching can feel isolating sometimes. You may in classroom with your students and it's easy to stay in that bubble. But we are part of a team, sharing resources, supporting newer teachers, collaborating on curriculum, even just being pleasant in the hallways. That's all part of being a professional.
I will be talking about the school boards. Now let's shift our focus to school boards. If you are like I was early in my career, you might not have given much thought to who these people are or what they actually do. Maybe you have seen their names in the district newsletter or you know there's a board meeting once a month, but that's about it. Here's what's important to understand. School boards are typically elected by the community, though in some districts they are appointed. These are usually community members, sometimes parents, sometimes business owners, sometimes retired educators, sometimes just citizens who care about education. They are not getting rich by doing this. Most board positions pay very little or nothing at all. They do it because they believe in public education and want to serve. And what do they actually do? Well, they are the ones setting the big picture direction for the district. They approve the budget, which means they decide how money gets allocated across schools, programs, salaries, facilities, and everything. They establish the policies that govern how the district operates. They hire the superintendent who then manages the day-to-day operations. They are also adopt curriculum. Now, this doesn't mean they are writing lesson plans or deciding exactly what happens in your classroom on Tuesday at 10 a.m. But they do approve the overall curriculum frameworks, the textbooks, the programs the district will use. One thing that surprises some people is that school boards are actually required to conduct much of their business in public meetings. That means community members can attend and often there's time set aside for public comment. This transparency is important, but it also means that decisions about education are sometimes influenced by whoever shows up to speak, which can be both strength and a challenge.
I'm the fourth speaker. We'll be talking about professional relationship. So how do we as professional educators interact with the school board? What does this relationship actually look like in practice? First of all, there's a chain of command and it exists for good reasons. You probably don't email the school board directly when you have a concern about your classroom budget or a question about policy. You go through your principal who might take it to the superintendent, then the superintendent might take it, then communicate with the board. This is about keeping you away from decision makers. It's about making sure information flows properly and that leads at each level can do their jobs effectively. Having said that, board meetings are public. You absolutely can attend. In fact, sometimes it's valuable to see what issues are being discussed, what concerns are being raised in the community, what directions the district is heading. You might learn about upcoming changes before they reach your buildings. You might hear parents advocating for sometimes you've been wanting in your classroom. Here's where professionalism really comes in. We're expected to implement board policies and decisions even when we might personally disagree with them. Now, that doesn't mean we cannot advocate for change or voice concerns through appropriate channels. But once a decision is made, we are expected to carry it out professionally. Let me give you an example. Let's say the board adopts a new curriculum that you don't think it's as effective as what you were using before. Your professional responsibility is still to implement that curriculum to the best of your ability. But you can also document its effectiveness. Share data with your principal, participate in curriculum review processes, and provide feedback through proper channels. What you cannot do is just ignore the decision and do your own thing or bad mouth the decision to parents and students. The school board sets policy, but where the professionals who understand pedagogy, child development, and effective instruction, there's supposed to be mutual respect there, or mutual respect there. They trust our expertise in the classroom, and we respect their governance authority and their responsibility to represent the community's interests. Here sometimes, here sometimes the board should provide us with clear expectations. If they adopt the policy, we need to know what it is and how to implement it. If they have standards for professional conduct, those should be clearly communicated. Good governance means transparency and clarity, not leaving teachers to guess what's expected. On our hand, we hold the board and ultimately the community they represent accountability. That means documents, student progress, being able to explain our instructional choices using direct resources appropriately, and being honest about what's working and what is not working.
So, here's what I want you to take away from this presentation. Professionalism isn't just about being perfect or following rules blindly. It's about understanding our role, meeting high standards, and working within the system to serve students as effectively as possible. The relationship between teachers and school boards works best when there's mutual respect, clear communication, and a shared commitment to student success. We bring the expertise in teaching and learning. They bring community representations and governance. Together, that's how public education is supposed to work. Understanding these relationships makes us better educators and stronger advocates. And ultimately, that's what matters, creating the best possible learning environment for every student who walk through our classroom door. Thank you, and I hope you have enjoyed this presentation.